tell me about the situation that you're having a hard time with.
When they're backing off and they don't want to go somewhere in the arena, or they just don't want to go forward, and I'm struggling with pushing the horse through it, and it seems to be getting worse because then the horse is starting to act up even more, which is exactly what I don't want to have happen. So I'm here.
So you've tried a number of things to get through this?
Yes.
And it's not really working?
No.
Okay. So do you think this is primarily related to your fear of what might happen? Is that what?
Yes.
So it doesn't sound like what you're afraid of is the horse just not doing it and sitting there and telling you to leave it alone. You're afraid something might happen.
Yes.
At this point, what I would probably go to is to write down the situation, maybe a couple of situations, and rate them on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the most scary thing you've ever been through in your life, and 1 being it's a little scary, but no big deal. And then we'd figure out, okay, which situations are you pretty comfortable with? And then I would have you, probably we'd work on skills like, do you know how to relax yourself when you get tense? Because you're probably getting pretty tense. And from what I understand, you're telling me that may be some of what's also contributing to the horse getting stuck. So it might be really important to work on relaxation. Do you know any techniques for relaxation?
Yes, my trainer Bridget has told me about yoga.
So can you go into yoga right on the back of the horse?
No, but I can. I know I can relax in yoga.
That's so funny because it's kind of an aside, but when I was going to Hilltop, they had a yoga piece of the weekend trainings.
Yeah.
So, and one of the people there, Lil Lack was her name, and she was the yoga instructor. She would actually put people on a lunge line and teach them how to do yoga on the back of a horse.
Yeah, I can see that.
It was
I
so
mean, you
cool.
could do chair yoga, you could do horse yoga.
You sure can.
I mean, just breathing and holding. I mean, as long as the horse isn't being difficult, you can just
Right.
kind of
You had it on a
there.
lunge line, so
Yeah.
you didn't have to do anything. And so that would be one technique. I also have a piece of equipment called the M-Wave that looks at heart rate coherence, which is a measure of relaxation. And you put your thumb on this little gizmo and you breathe, and it has a little band of lights that go up and down with your breath. And when you're in a relaxed state, it will go ding,
Oh,
ding. So it gives you
Very
feedback.
cool.
It's a piece of biofeedback equipment. So, because a lot of people will say, I am relaxed. And they're not.
but it shows
But
you.
this will show you for a fact that physiologically you've relaxed. So when somebody has this kind of tension, I almost always have them buy one of these little things. It's the most reasonably priced piece of biofeedback equipment you can just about buy. It's
Very
not
cool.
expensive. And then you practice with that. The cool thing about this with a horse is you can put it in your pocket and it's got a wire with an ear clip, so you don't have to hold it. And you can ride with this.
Oh, neat.
And you can practice breathing while you're actually riding your horse.
Oh,
So if you
nice.
notice yourself starting to get tense when you go down to that part, what you might do is practice breathing through, riding through that corner until you can keep it in the relaxed state and just get closer and closer to the corner until you've taught yourself to stay relaxed, even in that corner. So this is a way, it's called systematic desensitization, where you actually desensitize yourself to the scary thing.
Okay.
And physiologically, you stay calm even when you're looking at this thing going, oh, this could be a problem. You're still physically calm, which then the horse stays calm because they're matching your state, and it's much less likely that something will go wrong.
And I imagine it would be better to practice that off the horse.
Yes,
And then transfer it when you're ready on the
absolutely,
horse.
absolutely. And then when you can use it for is when you're riding the horse around the arena, see how close to the scary spot you can get and keep it in the relaxed state. And then keep going a little closer and a little closer until you can do anything and stay relaxed. So that's one method, and that's actually called, it's a mind to muscle method, where you're using your brain and you're thinking this through and you're telling yourself to breathe a certain way. And then when you reach that state, your muscles will relax, and then that translates into a more relaxed
Yeah, it
ride
makes
on your horse.
Perfect sense.
Mm-hmm. So that's one. The other thing, and I'm jumping ahead instead of us doing a role play, what I would do is have you write down these situations and rate them. If they're really strong, there's some different techniques we can use. There's one called EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, which typically you need a therapist or someone who's trained in it to do this. But if you're really stuck, that's the big guns you bring out. And you basically go into this situation thinking about the scary thing and work through it with a therapist using this technique. Now, the cool thing that I found is it doesn't have to be with a therapist once you've learned how to do it with a therapist.
Okay.
You can actually think of the situation on your own, close your eyes, move your eyes back and forth, and then you'll notice about halfway through, or after just a few passes with your eyes, you'll start to feel physically relaxed. And then you'll feel like you want to take a deep breath, and then you go, oh, I'm okay. You can do that. You don't want to ride around with your eyes closed. But you can pull to the side, close your eyes, do a little bit of this stuff until you feel relaxed, and then go back to what you were doing, if you need it in a pinch when you're on a horse's back.
Do you think, again, not to role play, do you think you can train your brain to fix this?
Yes.
It's a fixable situation.
Completely fixable. As you've learned, situation triggers anxiety. This is the systematic, the desensitization part is you can train yourself to the situation no longer triggers anxiety. And you can actually get to the point where you might even laugh at it and go, oh, that used to scare me.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think the mind is triggering the body to not operate.
Right.
And so there's this freeze.
Mm-hmm. And plus, if you're physically tight and the horse bucks or does something, you're not going to stay on as easily as you would if you're relaxed.
Yeah.
So it will help with that end of it too.
These riders get scared and their body goes into a whole different position than just a second ago.
Well, and if you think about it, this is something that was taught to me when I was like about 12, is if your body is tight and tense, it's like a big blown up rubber ball. It's going to bounce. It's not going to go with the horse. If it's kind of limp and relaxed, it's just going to go boom.
Yeah.
And the horse does, you go with it.
Yeah. But easier said than done.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And some people tend to be more uptight than others. If you're the kind of person that gets physically tense, then this is even more important to work on.
You're riding, you're getting into the scary, so you take a deep breath, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, or exhale, inhale, 1, 2, 3. Do you think that type of counting as you're riding, do you think that that's a solution, I guess?
I think what works better, that could work, but I think what works better is to train yourself when you're off the horse to do what's called belly breathing. And that's where you breathe in through your nose, into your belly. So like if you put a hand here and a hand here and you take a deep breath, the one over your belly is going to move more than the one over your chest.
Yeah.
That's
why I say yoga, because in my yoga,
it's yoga breathing.
Class, that's what we use.
So if you can, and then, because what happens then is you're on the horse and you start to get tense, start breathing into your belly, and that will then go to a more relaxed state in general. And I don't think you have to count. I think if you get into counting, this is getting kind of technical, but counting activates more of the beta brainwaves too. So in a way, if you can just do something physical that's a sensation, that's keeping you more in an alpha type state, which is a more relaxed state.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
If you start trying to think too much.
See, that's,
like, oh my God, this is going to happen, and
now I gotta count.
Now I gotta count. How many do I count to?
Oh gosh, I got my wrong count.
Yeah, and now you're going to be all tense for that.
Stressed about.
So you want to just train yourself to do the belly breathing.
And from a physical standpoint, the belly breathing engages your core in such a way that you're more secure versus kind of that nervous, deflated, you disengage your abs, which is not where you would want to be if you're in a spooky area of the arena or by a spooky time.
And it's relaxing around your midsection and your low back, which allows you to move more with the horse. There's this whole bunch of ways this problem. The other thing you can do, this is again jumping to how to work with this freezing up because you have this fear. you're coming to that end of the arena and this is a bad spot, is the more you can do the breathing and then have a visual image in your mind about what you want to have happen. Like you see your horse going into the corner and staying relaxed, and just feel what that would feel like to just, oh, he's not noticing a thing, and I'm breathing, he's breathing. Gee, he didn't even notice we were in that corner. So, and you can practice that off the horse. Like, here comes that corner, what do I want to think? How do I want to do this? You can even do things with your horse, like if you have a horse that jigs a lot and you don't want it to, like you're riding in a dressage test and you want it to have a nice walk, but it's tense and it's going to start jigging. Imagine that horse, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just imagine that nice rhythm and staying in the walk, and breathe in your belly. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get what you're wanting.